Chairman, how are you? Good, great to be here in Watertown. My name is Richie Kessel. I'm the President and Chief Executive Officer of the New York Power Authority. And just wanted to introduce a couple of staff people who are here with me because my hope is to make a no more than 10-minute presentation to the legislature and then to answer any questions you might have. And I brought with me Jordan Brandeis. Jordan helped put the RFP and the project together, and also Sharon Ladisi, who has done a lot of the community work on this. So they'll be available along with me to answer your questions if you have them. And I wanted to start out by thanking you, Legislator Blackenbush, for having me up here. I'm probably can tell I'm a pretty outgoing, affable person. I appeared before county legislators many times, and many times in my former life as head of the New York Long Island Power Authority on Long Island, LIPA, and also when I was head of the Consumer Protection Board for the state of New York for 11 years. So I'm very familiar with county legislatures and how they operate. And I called up the chairman because I read a lot of things in the press up here and heard a lot of things in my many trips up here to Watertown and to the North Country. And I felt it was important for you to come up in person to talk to you about what the project is and what it isn't, and to answer any questions that you might have. And I wanted to indicate to you, I think that's an important role for the head of the Power Authority. A couple of people asked me downstairs, why would I come? Why not send a representative? Well, I don't believe in that. I think it's important for you to hear from the head of the authority. And by the way, this is my idea. I take full responsibility. I'm thrilled about the project, wherever it goes. So, you have to be able to go yourself and talk about it and defend it or praise it or whatever else. So it's important. And so I wanted to also indicate before I started that I am at the Power Authority almost 17 months now. So I'm not there that long. And I've probably been up to the North Country almost once a month, probably 15 or 16 times. I've been to Watertown many times. I've been to Messina many times. We have our great St. Lawrence facility. We work very closely with the publisher of the Watertown Times and my good friend John Johnson, who initially was against my appointment but changed his mind because we work very closely together on some of the important projects in the North Country, like saving Alcoa from going out of business up here, which would have devastated the entire North Country, something that we recognized head on. So this is not the head of the Power Authority kind of coming up into an area where I don't know it. I will tell you that in the 15 or 16 months that I've been at the Power Authority, I've been up to the North Country, probably, again, 15 or 16 times, to Western New York, probably 30 or 30 more times, and all places in between, from Cape Vincent to Canton, to Syracuse, to Rochester, to Schenectady, because I think it's important for the head of the Power Authority to go out and talk about some of the things that are important. This project, I just wanted to start off by saying a few things so it's very, very clear. This offshore wind project is, in my view, a critical component to trying to reduce the carbon footprint around New York State and in the country. And I think that it's very clear to me that wind development in general, but other renewable energy forms, is critical to the future of the North Country, the state, the region, and the nation. We are too dependent on fossil fuels for our livelihoods, for our future. And we should begin to figure out a way to reduce our dependence on fossil fuels. We don't need to be prisoners of OPEC. The price of oil, which was under $40 a year ago, is now over $80. That means supply tightens, prices go up, and America, in my view, and New York State is in a bad position where almost all of the power that we utilize comes from oil and natural gas. And so wind is part of a renewable energy portfolio that includes solar energy, geothermal, and also on the energy efficiency side, ways to reduce usage in general. And I just wanted to indicate that the New York Power Authority is very dedicated to be a leader in renewable energy technologies and energy efficiency. We will be spending $1.5 billion over the next 3 or 4 years on energy efficiency projects, from right up here in places like SUNY Canton, where we're working with them on some exciting projects, to Clarkson, to Watertown itself and some of the municipal facilities, and promoting the use of renewable energy technologies. Offshore wind is something that I believe in very, very strongly. But I think it's important to make a few points at the outset. Number one, we don't have an offshore wind proposal right now before us at all. We did issue on Earth Day of last year a request for expressions of interest to find out whether there was interest in the wind development community to site offshore wind in the Great Lakes. We did get significant interest back, and as a result of that, we issued an RFP, if I remember, Jordan, it was December 1st of last year, to ask developers to come in with proposals to build between 120 or 125 and 500 megawatts of offshore wind in Lake Erie and or Lake Ontario. And while we did provide dozens of pre-selected potential sites, we indicated that any site that works is something that we would look at. And that RFP is out now. Developers are reviewing it, and they will be responding to it, I think, on June 1st. So we will get proposals back on June 1st, and only then will we have an idea of what the project might look like or where it might be. Right now, there is no project at all. And they
come in and stay in the navigational routes that could be cut off when you're bringing boats in and out of Toronto, out from Sodus Bay, in and out of Sackett's Harbor, in and out of Henderson Harbor, in and out of Dexter. In my opinion, and many of the people here, it's just not the right fit. And you can call that premature, but I know how dependent we are on this tourism business. And we go from the Basin Eye District to the Oswego County, and we go to the St. Lawrence County line along the St. Lawrence. 40.5% of our tax base at full value is comprised of that waterfront property, and I'm not interested in doing anything to jeopardize that.
Right, and you're entitled to that opinion, but again, you don't know where the project is going to be. You don't know what the routes are. There's no project there. How could you make that assessment? That's your opinion based upon no project.
It's
based upon, with all due respect to you, it's based upon a map that is not specific to a project, but is a general outline of not all, but many of the sites where it could be. Why wouldn't you, again, I've been in government and politics a long time, why wouldn't you want to wait and see what we're talking about before you prejudge something? I mean, to me, that's just not responsible. You are right, and if in fact you're right, then you know what? In 6 months, you can come and say we don't want it. But to say it today, when you don't even know it's going to be here, and to turn your back, in my view, on the potential for benefits to the community and jobs is, in my view, it's imprudent. And I'm not saying you shouldn't oppose it, legislator, and I know you're one of the opponents. You have every right to oppose it, and every argument you make, you have every right to make. I think the tourism part is reversed, because this would be a huge tourist attraction here. Well, you'll see. But I'm telling you, and let's respect each other. We don't need that. But I have my opinion, and you have your opinion. We can say it cordially. I didn't come up here to get shouted at. I came up here to try to give you information and be helpful. So, just to say to you, I think you're entitled to that opinion. And if you believe